Hey guys, good evening. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. Welcome to IFYL Inspirations for Your Life. Good evening. Whether you're with me at 10:25 p.m., 10:25 a.m., 3 a.m., 3 p.m., 6 a.m., 6 p.m., doesn't really matter what time you're with me, but thank you so much for being here. We have this awesome topic for the week, which I know you guys know about: how contextual versus literalist motivation shapes our drive for success. We're on Series 3, Show 40, and the granular topic for tonight, in case you guys are wondering, well, it's a really good topic, and that topic is this, and that's when context matters more than direct orders, Series 3, Show 40, episode number 2. So welcome, everyone. Let's just kick this off, all right? First thing I want to talk about is that when we think about literal things and contextual things, it can get a little confusing, right? So the why behind things, you know, do you provide context and explain the reason behind the tasks? Because if you do, you'll increase your buy-in with other people and the accountability from your team. When people understand the bigger picture, they're more motivated to contribute meaningfully to the team, whether that's financially, whether that's resources, knowledge, doesn't matter, but there's a whole bunch of things. Next thing I want to talk about is empowering employees through autonomy, letting them be able to do the things on their own without having to have check-ins all the time. So discover how giving your employees is important when you give them some freedom. Now, you still might have to check up on things, but you're allowing them to figure out how to do the tasks themselves. And when they do this, they can make decisions, a lot faster, and they can get a sense of ownership, which is going to drive them to perform at higher levels because they feel trusted and empowered. And I don't know about you, but whenever you feel empowered, it's like somebody wants to go the extra mile for you, right? They just want to because they know what's happening. They know that you trust them, and they just want to do more for you. I mean, it's just a natural instinct. So the role of purpose in enhancing motivation is key. So we can connect tasks to a broader purpose, and then both on an individual and an organizational or corporate level, we can make employees and team members more driven and inspired to do their day-to-day work. When you recognize somebody for the little things they do, they want to go out of their way to do things that much better for you. All right. Context, right? We've talked about context before, and it's gotten people confused. So context fosters creative problem solving, but it can also cause confusion and miscommunication. So when we offer a context rather than a strict directive, it encourages employees to think creatively and come up with an innovative solution on their own, which leads to a much better outcome. All right. If I give you a very hard and fast way to do something, you don't have a way to think outside the box. Now, I realize sometimes you can't think outside the box. I get that happens. And welcome to our Instagram people. I know sometimes that stream does load a little bit later. We are talking about a very important topic this week, ladies and gentlemen. In case you're just joining us, that topic is none other than this. When context matters more than direct orders. Series 3, Show 40, episode number 2. Context. Give people the ability to see different contexts rather than a strict directive. And you'll get more buy-in. You'll get more support. You'll get greater morale. It's just pretty cool how this works. So encourage employees, encourage staff members, encourage volunteers to think creatively and come up with the innovative solutions on their own. And this will lead to a much better outcome. And when somebody comes up with an idea, even if the management has kind of given them a direction to kind of go somewhere around there, they will be much more inclined to do it because they're going to feel it's 100% their own. So the next thing I want to talk about is direct orders versus a collaborative goal promising or setting approach. So there's power when you involve your team in the goal setting or goal promising process. It creates a sense of partnership and commitment, as opposed to simply telling them what to do. You also have the ability to take their temperature and see, like, where are they in the process? If we were to implement a new flex schedule at our company starting October 1st, where you would have to put in basically 45 hours a week, but you could put the 45 hours in from anywhere. And your flex schedule could be anytime, day or night, even weekends. And you could change your flex schedule as much as once per week if you had to. That's pretty cool. So we would need to know what your flex schedule is going to be a week before. And then if you have to change it the next week, you can just let us know. So that's a real cool thing, ladies and gentlemen, because a lot of people want freedom, but they also want the ability to be trusted. So again, there's power when we set promises, when we create this partnership, whether it's employee and HR, employee and the corporation, employee and other team members. Okay. Even your executive board wants to have a collaborative approach. Nobody on your executive board wants to be told what to do, but they love it when you can ask questions. Asking questions is priceless, and knowing the right questions to ask is even more key. Just keep the questions open. We're not going to get into how to ask questions tonight, but asking open-ended questions is much better than asking a closed-ended question. Start early by learning how to build trust through being 100% transparent. Learn that open communication and sharing key information with your team will build trust. Help your employees and team members to feel valued and more willing to go that extra mile. That's key. Nobody wants to work for a company that isn't going to be truthful about what's going on, right? Now, how can contextual leadership drive engagement? So when we think about that, leading with context, explaining the why behind your vision and decisions helps employees to stay engaged and enthusiastic and ultimately boost team morale while still keeping them in a little bit of a container, but giving them some room to spread. So you've set a boundary area where they can actually, explore, but they can't get outside of the container. I mean, they have this big pool, let's say, that they can move around in, but they can't leave the pool. But still, it gives them enough that they feel they have enough freedom, and that's important. So this is something important to develop and to do it in a manner that is going to be in line with taking people's temperatures. What I mean by that is seeing where they are. How do you feel about this, Jim? So, we implemented the flex schedule last week. What do you think about it? Well, John, I love it. It's great. I wish I didn't have to work an extra 5 hours. Yeah, I know. Well, that was what we did to make it more cost effective for us. So we would gain 5 more hours, but you could work anytime you wanted from anywhere. No, I guess it's pretty good. And so listening to your staff members is really a key, ladies and gentlemen. So let's talk about personalized motivation, okay? So personalized motivation strategies as opposed to generic commands like, you have to do this, you better do this then, and that just doesn't go anywhere. So a one-size rule or a one-size solution or approach to motivation doesn't work. And if we tailor a strategy to individual team members, it can make a significant difference not only in their morale, in the quality of their work, okay, but in the total success and profitability of the company. I think these are really key things, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, really, 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 really key things. So personalized motivation Doesn't mean that you have to spend 50 hours to customize a plan. It just means that you're going to tailor it a little bit. They're working in client services. Well, maybe you have to tailor it to how they're going to do client services. That's all. Keeping it within your corporate values and mission, of course. The impact of positive work. Environments on motivation are key. So when we create a positive, supportive environment that fosters respect and collaboration, it increases motivation and reduces burnout. Now with things like, reducing any type of discrimination of race, religion, sexual orientation, creed, color, political party, people feel as though they not only are respected, but they feel that they fit in. They also feel that, their voice is going to be heard, regardless of whether they're low man on the totem pole or whether they are one of the key officers. That's important. A feeling is what makes something so. And when we feel a certain way, our feelings become contagious. This is why if you have a bad employee and you don't nip it in the bud, and that feeling starts to trickle down, okay, it can create chaos like that. So we want to make sure that we create an environment that fosters this. It's not just the people, it's the environment and the culture that we've set up that allows us to keep delivering a positive work environment and will keep people motivated. That could be things like having a juice bar and coffee bar set up at the end so that when somebody wants to take a drink, you're able to go over there and get a drink when you want to, right? These are small little things, but they really show the employee that you care about them. And the last point I want to talk about tonight is sustaining long-term motivation through meaningful work. So as we wrap up tonight's discussion, when you do something that has meaning, okay, this can propel an employee sometimes even more positively forward than an increase in pay. I'm not saying increase in pay doesn't work, but I'm saying that when an employee knows that their task maybe helps save 100 lives, or when that task helped protect a company from a major flood, or whatever it is, I'm just making this stuff up. When the employee knows that their direct work had a meaningful, positive impact on one or more people's lives, they then start to want to take ownership. And when they take ownership, they become accountable. And when they become accountable, they want to keep upping their game so that they can be better each day without you even having to ask them. That's a pretty cool thing. So we have to understand the why behind the tasks, empower employees through autonomy, and understand the role or purpose of enhancing motivation. Context, fostering creative problem solving, direct orders versus collaborative promise setting. We know what that is now. And building trust through transparency. How contextual leadership drives engagement, personal motivation strategies over the generic commands that are often given, impact of a positive work environment on motivation and how to sustain that, and of course, long-term motivation through meaningful work. When people know that they make a change in other people's lives that impacts them in a positive way, they want to do more of what they're doing because they know that they have a purpose in this world. And that purpose makes them want to work every single day at what they do and take pride in their job, their craft, or their task. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Mr. John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's such a privilege, pleasure, and honor to be with you guys on these amazing days and evenings. I hope you'll like, love, and support the channel. Comment below. Tag your friends, colleagues, and associates. Share this out with everyone you know on social media. Go to believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations to empower you and the people you care so much about. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, we've got so much more to talk about when it comes to contextual and literalists. But understanding that these two areas can directly impact a group, whether it's volunteers, whether it's at a work environment, even without them saying anything to you. Because when you don't understand the environment, people sometimes quit. People sometimes have lower morale. People sometimes have issues with keeping your company profitable. Don't fall into that boat. Understand what contextual and literal is and knowing when to employ each. Have yourself a fantastic rest of your evening, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.